Yeah, my brother.
Yes.
What's up?
Fine, my brother. Agum okay.
Nah, like,
Udo Pasanandum.
this is Mr. Etelbata Obinna
Ume.
Ume.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome
Thank you.
to the show. So it's just I was talking with somebody some time ago, and
Okay.
was like asking me a question that actually I wasn't expecting. He said,
Okay.
"Is marriage an achievement?" Because
Ah.
I see some people actually brag and say, "Oh, I'm married. You are not married. At least I've been able to marry. I have children. This, that, and all that. And you are single. So even if you have a baby mama or whatever, but I'm married and you're not married, like they brag about it, like
Yes.
the way you can brag about, I have a house, I have money, or something like that. You think marriage is an achievement?
Yes, marriage is an achievement, obviously. There's no
Right.
two ways about it. First and foremost, when you like example you mentioned, when you marry and then you start, you become responsible. You know, both the man and the female, both of you become responsible in the society. You know, you can be addressed as Mr. and Mrs. Now, if even if you go from the biblical point of view, the Bible said, Proverbs 18 verse 1, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. You see, the Bible even recognizes that marrying, getting married is a good thing. And it's something that obtains favor from the Lord. You have wife, you have children, you have a husband and all that. So it's a very wonderful thing. Then on the other angle, I'm sure most people also have reservations when you don't marry the right person. When you maybe you made a mistake in marriage, you know, nothing in life is perfect. So sometimes I think most people who tend to maybe say marriage is not an achievement, probably they were not happily married. But obviously, even though there are people who are not happily married, don't also forget there are people who are also happily married. And those who are happily married cannot say marriage is not an achievement because obviously it's an achievement, it's an elevation.
Yeah, because I can see, you know, if as a man, you know, especially in our society here, if you are counting one of the things that you need to achieve as a man, you include marriage.
Yes,
It's
marriage
so
is
like some
obviously.
people will tell you, oh yeah, I have to when I finish from the university, maybe build a house, buy a car, marry, you know, have my children and train them. That's one of the things that make a man feel that maybe I'm fulfilled and I've done what I'm supposed to do as a man. So even if I'm not stupendously rich, but at least you have something to
Yes, yes,
talk about,
yeah.
right?
The truth is this: before you get, as a man, before you think of getting married, there are things you need to set in place. And if you don't really set those things in place, it might bring a problem in future or in that marriage. Especially if those things were not maybe established, maybe immediately after marriage. You know, you need to, even if you don't buy a house or build a house or buy a car, at least you need to have a roof over your head. It's very key. You
Yeah.
know, you don't marry and then maybe take your wife to, or take your husband and maybe living in a maybe in a family house. It kind of sometimes, you know, it may not really work well. So marriage in that angle is an achievement. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's an achievement. However, some people do not marry the right partners for themselves. Some people, even when they marry, they now discover, oh, I made a mistake. Oh, if I had known this, I wouldn't have married as I did. But even at that, maybe at that point, such people may have regrets, and it's at that point that some people may also say it's not an achievement. Socrates, a philosopher, said, "If you marry a good wife, you are in safe heaven. But if you marry a bad one, you automatically become a philosopher." So I think at that point of philosophizing,
Yeah.
you cannot say it's not an
I didn't
achievement,
do it.
and
I
maybe
didn't do it
it's out
right.
of frustration or depression. So
Yeah. But
that also is
is
that.
there a right time? Like you can say, yeah, this is the right time to marry. There are certain things that you must necessarily put in place. Or
Yes.
can you also say that there are marriages that are out of mistake? Maybe, yeah,
Well, people
I
get
wasn't
married.
ready before I get into this marriage.
Yes.
Like
Most
all
people marry when they are not ready. That's the truth. Most people marry when they are not ready. Getting ready is not just only financially getting ready. Maybe
Yeah.
having all the whole things. Most people are not mature, mentally sound to think of marriage. And when those people marry, you see them still acting like people who are not married. You know, you see, at that point, can you say that person is no? So the truth is, marriage requires maturity. Marriage requires patience. Marriage requires tolerance, and when these things are put in place, you see that it will flow well, and you can't say at that point that it's not an achievement.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
So there are necessary things that you must put in place.
Yeah, there are necessary things you must put in place. Yes.
Like,
apart from getting some maybe financial stability, you don't need to, be very be rich, or at least there are things you need to put in place, like a roof over your head. I mentioned before.
Yeah.
And then you must have something you're doing.
Yeah.
Especially the man, you must have something you're doing, because the wife may be a graduate, still looking for a job, or may still be in school, or maybe still learning handwork, or but the man, the one that is going to marry, must have something, a sustainable means of income, no matter how small. It's very key. Yes.
Yeah. Because it's like
because you can't marry and depend on maybe your family and friends to be funding your marital life.
Okay. Because some people, when you ask them about marriage, they tell you that, especially for the ladies, tell you, oh no, my man must have they will like put a cap on it, must be earning at least, based on maybe the economy of the particular area, whether it's Nigeria, America, or wherever. Based on the economy, say, okay, like in Nigeria, for example, you can say, oh, my man must be making at least 300,000 naira a month before I can say, I do to the person.
The question is this: if yes, of course, there's nothing bad. People desire good thing. It just simply means that she desires good thing, and absolutely there's nothing wrong bad with it. However, if your man is not making up to, let's say, 300,000 as the case study, if your man is not making up to that, what effort are you that is coming in making to help him make that, or even make more than that?
Yeah, right.
That should be the question. Not the man must be. You are not a bereri. You should be Osodieme. That is one who works with the husband. You shouldn't be a bereri.
Yeah.
You are who comes to eat, to squander.
Yeah.
But
that's the concept everybody approaches.
But that's a very wrong concept.
Yeah.
You are coming to compliment the man. You're not coming to squander him. You're not coming to squander him out of the radar.
That's the place that I find very interesting.
Okay.
Because most of the ladies who say this, many of them don't even have.
Many of them are broke. Many of them are broke. And they're not even skilled.
And then you're putting a cap. And you're not just saying, oh, I pray for a man that will have to. Don't say that. My man must be, but when you ask this person, what are you bringing to the table? You don't even, most of them don't have anything doing.
So, anybody who is not bringing anything to the table, and you go ahead and marry the person, you're just trying to dig your grave. That's the truth, unless the person is willing to bring something to the table.
Yeah.
Because also marriage humbles a lot of people. That's the truth. With the challenges of marriage humbles a lot of people.
What are the challenges?
Many challenges. So many challenges. Not having money, not having enough to sustain the family, and then maybe infidelity, maybe these are two different people also who come together. So sometimes if they didn't cut very well, maybe they didn't understand each other very well. So there may be some cultural differences.
Yeah.
That also the challenges of marriage are over 1,001 challenges. Yeah. However, every marriage has its own challenge. That's the truth.
Yeah, exactly.
So each one has its own challenge.
So for people, because there are people who are also like, they have the money, they have built themselves to a standard that, when it comes to some of these initial obstacles that you can talk about in marriage, they have passed that stage. But yet, they are finding it very difficult to say I do to one person. Like, I don't want to just bring one woman. What do you tell them?
Yes.
How do you assuage their fears? Like, make them, take that decision.
Yes.
This is what I want to do.
I'm not,
because actually I can say that it's very difficult, to make that decision to stay with one person, and that is the most scaring part of it. When some men think about if I'm single, I can go out and meet 3 girls and nobody's going to hold me down and question me. But carrying one woman and then just being with that one woman is a very difficult decision to make. So what do you tell them?
Yes, well, personally, I am a fan and advocate of one man, one wife. That's my belief, and that's my fan. I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
And that's my belief. However, instead of a man having so many, maybe one wife, and maybe so many side chicks, do you understand? So many. So some men, they have as many as possible.
Yeah.
Now, instead of having that, it is advisable that you now marry more than one wife. Yes. Instead of having so many. So we know that, oh, this one is a man, but he has 2 or 3 wives.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So instead of having so many side chicks outside, because each one also comes with its own problems. So why don't you legalize it? Make it more.
What if your first wife doesn't accept that? What happens?
Well, that is another thing. Both of you has to have a very good conversation on that. You have to, if you must take a second wife or a third or a fourth, as the case may be. Remember, I'm an advocate of one man, one wife.
Yeah.
But if you should do that, for those who do that, then you must have a very good agreement with your wife. First wife, you must.
Yeah.
You must
But
convince her
you know that
to see reasons with you why you need that.
Yeah, you know that in some countries it's against the state law for you to even think of taking a second wife.
Oh yeah.
Like in the United States of America.
Yes.
If you think of
yes,
getting a second wife is a crime.
Good.
Like it's a state law, it's against the constitution.
Oh great.
You understand?
Great.
So but there's
a way they do it.
Yeah, what they do is
Okay.
the issue of baby mama, baby father
Yes.
is very rampant and is acceptable.
Okay.
You know, so you can have
Okay.
5 children from 5 different women.
When you
As
are
long
still
as
legally
you're not-
married.
Yes, even if you are married to one woman,
Okay.
and then but the rest you can't legally marry to them.
Okay,
You
but the
can't say-
children you take responsibility
Yeah,
for
but
the
you
children.
take responsibility for the children. So, but myself, I see it as hypocrisy because you know when I try to compare between
yes.
this and that, I'm like, I think our own African way of living
It's better. It's better.
I'm not encouraging it. I'm not going to
Yes.
take a second wife.
Of course.
Or something.
Me
By
too,
the grace of God, I
yes,
pray for that.
by the grace of
So,
me,
you know,
me
because
when
things work out good.
I eventually get married, I'm not going to take a second wife. That's the truth.
Yeah.
That's why I have to be very careful to make a selection.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take a second wife.
Uh-huh.
That's the truth.
So at what point, you know, when you look at our society, there is a high level of divorce and separation among couples.
Yes.
You know, so do you think there is a time for somebody who is married, like there are things or signs that you can see in your marriage and you say it's time to quit?
Yes.
And what are those things you think?
Well,
that
there are
comes?
plenty things, like
Yeah.
I told you, challenges of marriage.
Yeah.
You know, so many people each one have his own challenge, you know. So I won't start here to start enumerating. Some people quit the marriage as a result of maybe domestic violence.
Okay.
Some quit as a result of maybe childlessness. Some quit as a result of maybe irreconcilable differences.
Yeah.
Some quit as a result of maybe cultural differences. The challenges are multiple. Each one at its own level. Especially when the two partners could not maybe manage the situation or could not get people that will manage the situation, you know, effectively for them. Maybe
Yeah.
counselors or so. Divorce is inevitable. That's the truth.
Okay. So those are some of the things that
Yes,
you
yes.
can say in marriage.
That at that point maybe
People use
however,
that to-
most people also face even more stringent conditions more than these ones and still survive. So that's why I say each one at its own level.
Yeah.
So some
Yeah.
people they have the shock absorber to manage their
Yeah, because if
differences.
you check our forefathers, our foreparents, like
but
they
but
go
most of the
through
things
worse
happen,
things
but
than
most
what
of,
we
but most
see
of the
now.
things that happened to their forefathers they no longer happen now.
Yeah, but
The society is evolving. The type of people had then it's not the people we having now.
Yeah.
Social media came. So right now you
Okay.
can yes.
Okay. You're going to
One of the
social-
challenges, well, of course, social media has its own, one of its demerits
Yeah.
is what we're saying.
Yeah, breaking up of forms.
Of course. And you put your man or your woman on a pressure in marriage because of things you see on social media
Yeah.
about how other marriages think.
Yeah.
You are forgetting that not all that glitters are good.
Yeah.
Most people post what they post on social media is what they want you to see and not actually what is on ground.
Yes.
And if you don't understand it, you think the grass is greener on the other side.
Yes.
When you go there, you know that even the grass was not even greener in the first place.
You find out that you were
It's not
better
even
off.
you were even better off where you were than you see that. And so
All right,
that's
my
it.
brother. Thank you very
You're
much
welcome.
for this. We have,
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.